For the longest time, I've been searching for an RPG game that can deliver some amazing storytelling, great atmosphere, and interesting characters. Fallout New Vegas was one of those games, but I knew there had to be more than just one. So after experimenting on RPG games that failed or fall short in the end, I think I finally found another one. And, of course, it is quite obvious. You can't have Fallout New Vegas without the OG. That's right, and today we're checking out Fallout 4, one of the greatest video games that ever came out in the history of mankind. Oh, fuck off, Preston! Trust me, I'm not trying to clickbait you or anything like that. No, we're not checking out Fallout 4. Maybe in a different time, but when I said OG, I meant by the original game. The first game in the Fallout series. The game that literally changed what role-playing games should be about. And that, my dear viewers, is a video game none other than Fallout 1, a post-nuclear role-playing game. While we've seen RPG games about kingdoms and medieval days, which has been done to death back at the time, this game aims at a different approach as the setting is based on post-apocalyptic. I've heard a lot of good things about this one throughout my travels, and I knew I wanted to talk about this game, but the problem was, I was not good at playing this game. Keep in mind that my first introduction to the Fallout series was Fallout 3.
You again.
And my mind was always used to playing Fallout in a first-person shooter. But switching from something like Bethesda's Fallout games to Interplay's Fallout games, there is a huge difference. Not only gameplay-wise, but just the tone and the feel of what a post-apocalyptic game should be. And I do understand if people like Fallout 3 and 4, and if you like those games, then I won't judge you. Seriously, I won't. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and that is absolutely fine. But I don't like Fallout 3 and 4. If they are considered as good games, in terms of Metacritic, then Fallout 1 is a god among them. So today, we're going to be looking at Fallout 1 and just find out why this game started a cult following fan base in the first place, and see if it's still worth playing. It's been over 20 years since it was released, and there's gotta be a reason why people come back to this one. So, let's find out. Oh yeah, and just a little FYI, this game was released on the 30th of September 1997, and I was born on the 13th of September 1997. Does this fact have a reason why I'm explaining it? Well, to tell you the truth, nah, not really. I'm just trying to make it past the 10-minute mark. Well, hey, at least I'm honest. When you start Fallout for the first time, a song will play called Maybe by the Ink Spots. Classic song, by the way, and you'll see some commercials on screen, like welcoming you to the Vault, a futuristic good-looking car named the Corvetta, and the American soldiers keeping the peace around Canada by grabbing their guns and— wait, what the fuck? Anyway, as the commercials go on, the camera moves far away from the TV, and you get a good view of what the world looks like now. The TV turns itself off, and as you're staring at a post-apocalyptic world, you start to get shivers down your body because you know you have to explore this place. You get a monologue about war never changes being told by Ron Perlman. There was a major war brewing over the years between China and America, and it wasn't until October the 23rd, 2077 that a global nuclear war was starting. Now, it is unknown who was the one who struck first, but long story short, most major cities ended up being destroyed in less than 2 hours. Human society and the way how we lived has all vanished from thin air. But however, some were lucky, as a few selected people were chosen to enter an underground shelter known as vaults. The vault we'll be exploring is Vault 13, which resides in Southern California, and our plot for Fallout 1 begins in the year 2161. 84 years after the destruction of Earth. And here's your opportunity to create your character. You can choose an existing one, or you can start from scratch. I like the character creation here, and I often spend way too much time here, but that's a good thing. You can decide your name, age, gender, choosing your special points, your skills, and selecting traits to spice things up. Depending on what you choose will make an impact on how you will go out in the wasteland. The computer chip for handling water pumping fried out, and the people of Vault 13 are slowly running out of drinking water. The Overseer, the person who is in charge of Vault 13, asks the main player, known as the Vault Dweller, to go out into the world to find a replaceable computer chip. You're given a Pip-Boy, which is sorta a modern day version of an Apple Watch. You venture outside to complete your quest in finding a water chip for Vault 13. It's almost just as exciting as finding batteries for Coco in Crash 2. Now the story seems very simple, perhaps too simple, but the story will develop into something a lot more bigger. But hey, as long as I'm not trying to find my dad in Fallout 3 and my son in Fallout 4, I'll take anything. But for a story being straightforward, I really love the story here. It gives you this excitement for adventure and mysteries on what you'll come across along your journey. Of course, you do have to be mindful at times because you do have 150 days to find the water chip, otherwise the people of Vault 13 will die out. Time will only pass when you're walking to your destination, so be mindful when you're traveling from A to B. Now you are asked to travel to another vault in Vault 15 to see if you can find one, but technically you can navigate to wherever you want, but do expect some challenging moments here and there, only because your character is not properly equipped for such a confrontation that is a higher leveled enemy. Gameplay wise, it's not your typical first person shooters like most of you would probably be expecting. And while it is labeled as a role-playing game, but I think in terms of the combat sections, I like to think it's a bit of a turn-based gameplay as well. When you come across a bad person or creature, you switch over to your combat and you take turns on making your move. You do have to sit back and think twice on making decisions like switching weapons, using stimpaks to heal you up, and using your weapons to attack your enemy. You can use weapons like the pistol, shotgun, knife, rocket launcher, grenade, laser, and plasma guns to name a few. Keep in mind, every choice you make uses action points, and depending on your AP, you may only have one turn per round, so it is most important to really think ahead. Now yes, the gameplay is extremely outdated, I'll just get that out of the way, and I can see why not a whole lot of newer Fallout fans would be into these gameplay portions. First of all, the combat can be pretty slow at times, and every combat will go on for as long as they need to be, just as long as there's a winner and a loser. You can tune the speed of the combat up in the options menu, making it go faster, so that helps a lot, but even then, it still can drag on a bit. And then you have your mouse, as you will be using it for the most part of the game. It can be tricky getting used to it for the first couple of hours. You use your left click for confirming your actions, and your right click for choosing different kinds of actions. You can either walk, or talk to somebody, or loot a person's body for some hopefully additional ammo. Trust me, you'll need that. Like I said, it's strange when you try it for the first go, but once you get used to it, it's pretty easy to control. Combat overall is something I actually enjoyed. Now, of course, comparing the gameplay to the later Fallout titles, and I will obviously choose those Fallout games in terms of gameplay, but it's pretty nice to strategize your playstyle, and it gets you laser focused on what could possibly happen next. And at times, I caught myself cheering for my character to hang in there and give it your all. It reminded me of being in a stadium full of crowds and supporting my team to win. You also have companions by your side to help aid you during combat. Throughout my journey, I had Ian, who used to work for the Crimson Caravan, now resides at Shady Sands, and Dogmeat, a dog who's in Junktown and will be available if you wear a jacket that looks familiar to him. Dogmeat is also a regular in the Fallout series, by the way. My new friends were very helpful during the more tougher parts of the game, but the only negatives about having companions by your side is they can shoot you if you're in front of an enemy, and they can stand in a doorway to block you from entering or exiting. I know it's weird to complain about it, but I just find it to be annoying every time I see it. The map design and just the layout of Fallout 1 feels realistic. When you travel from A to B, you'll come across random encounters around the wasteland. It can be confronting an enemy, a person to chat with, and seeing a bunch of dead corpses you can loot. There's always something new and different with these random encounters, and you never know what you're gonna witness. As for the places are concerned, I really adored them. Sure, there's only a handful, but each one I believe is pretty memorable. You can visit places like Shady Sands, a civilized group that actually left Vault 15 to start building society. You also have the Hub, a place where you come across traders, caravan groups, and talk to a few interesting people. And then you have Necropolis, an abandoned town being infected and taken over by ghouls, and the cool thing is, you can talk to some of the ghouls and have conversations with them. I thought it was a cool thing, but watch out what you say to Set, otherwise he'll talk about having that big tummy. And there's many more cool places to visit, and I'd say it's worth visiting every destination you can travel to. No matter where you go, you'll always come across something different, and it can help move the plot and get you one step closer towards the water chip. The side quests are pretty cool and nicely well done. What I enjoy about these side quests is a number of ways to tackle and finish the quest. If we look at a side quest like Fallout 4, most of the time the side quest will finish with two ways, either doing the right or the wrong thing. But in Fallout 1, let's say saving Tandy from the cons for example, there's about 7 ways to how you can finish the quest. 7 ways! That's pretty cool! You can persuade the leader to give Tandy back, you can sneak your way to unlock her cell, you can fight the leader and the winner gets Tandy. There's just so many interesting ways to go through not just this one, but many other side quests out there. You can side with either Killian Darkwater or Gizmo on who takes charge of Junktown. You can get a side quest from the Brotherhood of Steel to retrieve an ancient item at the Glow, where they expect you to fail the mission, and once you're at the location, you see all the other people that failed as well. There's a handful of creative side quests that you'll have to experience at least once. But hang on, this gets even better. And then we have the characters. Nearly every character you talk to has unique personalities that matches the setting of this world. And it makes it so goddamn realistic to a point where I actually felt I was a part of the post-apocalyptic massacre. Especially the ones with head animations, you'll have quite an interesting conversations with them. And hell, you can even talk to a machine and play chess with it. It just keeps getting better and better. You do meet up with a few characters that'll make a huge impact on the later Fallout titles, like Tandy, as I mentioned her before. She'll later on become one of the founders for the NCR, and Harold, who later on becomes a talking tree in Fallout 3. Now, you can easily make mistakes if you're not too careful, so my best recommendation is to remember to constantly save your game. Trust me, it'll definitely help you out a lot. Ah, the Gaming Critic save file, how did that get there? But with all that said, I do need to keep on talking about the story, as I am determined to finish the game. And hell, I haven't had this much determination since I vacuumed my room. Throughout your travels, you hear whispers and rumors about super mutants. Giant, green, enhanced monsters who were once human, but turned into a super mutant thanks to the forced evolutionary virus. You manage to find the water chip and return back to save Vault 13. After recording your documents in the library, the Overseer can't help but get concerned about the super mutant situation. And even though you deserve a nice long rest, you're told to go back out there with no choice and to stop the super mutants. Let me just say that I love the super mutants here, as they're shown as an incredible threat rather than just a random enemy encounter in Fallout 4. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. You can actually join the super mutants by telling the lieutenant where Vault 13 is, and by doing so, you get turned into a super mutant yourself and they storm into the vault, killing everybody inside Vault 13. That, if you so happen to choose, will be the bad ending. But if you want the good ending, then you'll have to confront the person responsible for the super mutants inside the cathedral, the Master. When you confront him, there's no point in talking him down as he's convinced himself about his plans of super mutants being the future. You can at this point either join the super mutants or kill the Master, but the only way to really convince him is to explain why his plan will fail. And you do this by learning everything about the super mutants along your travels by talking to people and reading notes. And once the Master realizes all his work has been for nothing, aka super mutants can't hold it up, he initiates the self-destruct countdown and blows himself up along with his plans and the cathedral. So you're probably thinking to yourself, that's gotta be the end of the game. Well, we've got one more thing to mention. You return to Vault 13 as a hero and the savior of the Vault. The Overseer welcomes you back, but he has something to get off his chest. Because you've been outside the vault, many of the vault residents may feel like there's nothing harmless outside and they might decide to leave the vault. The Overseer doesn't want to take any chances, so as your reward for saving Vault 13, you are hereby banished from the vault and never to return. Are you fucking kidding me? After all I've done, this is what I get? I feel like an absolute slut right now.
Well, thank you for your services, now get the fuck out.
This was such a bittersweet ending for me. You are chosen to go out and save the vault from being extinct, then when you come back a hero, you're told to leave? Vault 13 now has a clear future, and they'll get to have a happy ending, it's just that you're not invited for the future. The only place you're welcome to is the Wasteland. And I honestly think this is a fantastic ending. It just goes to show that the world of Fallout can be cruel and painful, and it can be unfair as well. I never saw a story so consistent and realistic from start to finish, and I think this is why Bethesda will never understand. There are games like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and even some of the Elder Scrolls games just feels like an adventure. All you're doing is guiding the player around and witnessing his or her stories, and all you can really do is sit back and let the game hold your hand as it tells you the story they want you to go through. But in games like Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and Fallout New Vegas, it feels like your adventure. You decide what person you want to be, and you are the one who writes the story. I'm now replaying Fallout again, but this time in a low intelligence run, and by God, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. All the conversations you went through disappear, and you're left with a response that only an idiot would say, and even Tandy would not talk to me because I couldn't talk properly and clearly as well. This is absolutely hilarious and cool at the same time, and I can't wait to progress into the game even more. So that was Fallout 1, and even though I really love Fallout New Vegas, I think Fallout 1 is probably my new favorite Fallout game after playing it. It was tough for me to say, but I also feel happy when I say that because Fallout 1 offers a massive adventure and you get to decide what you want out of the game. The story is so great and there's always something interesting above the horizon, the characters feel real and the locations are pretty creative. And while there are a couple of nitpicks, none of that distracted me from my overall experience. So with that being said, I'll be giving Fallout 1 a score of 9 out of 10. Yeah, it's that good. I do get in terms of gameplay, it doesn't offer a whole lot, but I really suggest you give this one a try. Even if you haven't played it before, you might be surprised. Because Fallout 1, in my opinion, offers a fun and an awesome role-playing experience that even Bethesda themselves, in my opinion, may never surpass. But anyway, Thank you for watching this review, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, the links will be down in the description box below. My name is Cheese and Crackers, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games.